Spirituality completely changed my life, and it'll change yours too, and I'll explain why and how. There's one main reason why spirituality is life-changing, and I'm not talking about religion, by the way. They're two different things. Actually, there are two main reasons, but I want to focus on one of them. So I'll quickly mention the other one, and then we'll focus on the one I want to talk about in this video. So the other reason why spirituality is life-changing is that it's our true purpose to grow spiritually. Every text, every spiritual text or spiritual book says that spiritual growth or expansion, awakening, remembering who we are is our true purpose. And to me, this understanding or this knowing was a big relief, because then I knew what to focus on or what really matters in my life. But that's not what I want to focus on in this video. If you want to go deeper into our spiritual life purpose, I made a video about that. So I'm going to link it somewhere on the screen and also in the description below. Now, the other reason why spirituality is so life-changing is because it increases one very important thing. When that one thing is low, it negatively impacts everything in our lives, from our relationships, our work, our happiness, everything. And that very important thing is self-worth. Let me explain. Low self-worth is why we chase fame, power, status, material possessions like in excess. Things that we believe will make us happy and that will make other people admire us or love us, until the day we realize that they don't really make us feel fulfilled. Low self-worth is what makes us want to feel important. It's why we are people pleasers. It's why we choose to follow what society says we should do, even if it doesn't resonate with us. It's why we choose partners that don't treat us well. Low self-worth is destructive, and it prevents us from living a fully authentic life. There are other ways we can cultivate self-worth, like besides spirituality, for example, self-care, but they're never going to be as profound. But I do think that combining, let's say, self-care and spirituality can be good. I'll give you a personal example. So I was bullied in high school. So my self-worth was very, very low. I also had social anxiety for many, many years. And I didn't have many friends. So I spent a lot of time alone. I felt very lonely. And because of that, I started going to the gym around the age of 15. I started going to the gym after school, like every day, and also on weekends because I had nothing else to do. And what this did, like over the month, something changed within me. I started seeing myself differently, more positively. I also started like eating better and taking care of myself in different other ways. Going to the gym was kind of an act of self-care, and over time it increased my self-worth. When you take care of yourself, you demonstrate that you care about yourself, and eventually you start believing it. Self-care is self-respect and self-love in action. So I would say that it's a great starting point for cultivating self-worth, and I also like that it's very practical. But it's not enough. I still experienced some social anxiety and a lack of self-worth until I accidentally discovered meditation around the age of 30. At the time, I enrolled in the Silva Method program. I took their home study program. It's a training to unlock your inner genius. So of course I was like, I want to unlock my inner genius. But what happened was a lot more profound than that. Just in the first week, I was listening to a recording called The Centering Exercise. It's like a 30-minute guided body scan and visualization technique. And when the recording ended, I was so still, like my mind, my body were so still. I felt so good, so relaxed that I didn't want to move. And then my awareness naturally went to the point between my eyebrows. So I wasn't instructed to do that. Maybe I was a yogi in another life, I don't know. But my awareness went there, and it gradually went toward the center of my head. And when I opened my eyes later, I looked at the time and an hour and a half had passed. So let's say 30 minutes for the centering exercise, and then an hour that I spent like at the center of my head. I had completely lost track of time. I didn't have like body awareness, like awareness of my physical body. I hadn't had any thoughts at that time that I can remember. It was a very transformative experience for me because I felt a sense of peace and calm. I felt this almost ecstatic joy coming from within me. And from this experience, I also felt a much deeper sense of self-worth. It was not like a mental or intellectual process. It was more like an inner knowing, an experiential knowing that I was infinitely worthy, that everyone was. The first thing I noticed that changed in my life after that was, apart from being very, very happy and calm and at peace, was my relationships. Just before that, I had been in a very toxic relationship for several years. And now that I think about it, I would never go back to that kind of toxic relationship. And then I started reading more like spiritual books and channeled books, which kind of strengthened my understanding that we are all inherently worthy. For example, before that, I had always felt guilt. Since I was a child, I always had this guilt within me. And I thought, even as a child, I thought I must have been a very bad person. I must have done very bad things in my life because I feel so guilty. And when I read the text, A Course in Miracles, it talks in the text about that guilt that most of us feel to some degree. And it explains that it's a guilt caused by the belief in separation. And then by knowing that, I was able to release guilt. And guilt and shame lower our self-worth. So when we can release the guilt and release the shame, and spirituality helps us do that, then we can feel more worthy. So cultivating spiritual awareness through meditation or reading books, reading texts like A Course in Miracles, maybe watching videos or listening to near-death experience stories, watching videos on Gaia TV, all that can really have a profound impact on our self-growth, much more lasting than other practices because it goes to the source. It reminds us of our true nature, which is, again, inherently worthy. So self-worth is one of the greatest benefits of having spiritual awareness. It's life-changing because then you believe that you're enough, regardless of your achievements or how you look or your status. It allows you to embrace and follow your curiosity and your joy without feeling the need to prove anything to anyone. It gives you the permission to choose a career that you love rather than something just to please your parents or just for the money or just for the status. And because of all of that, you're able to live more authentically, which is very fulfilling and very satisfying. I'll put links and recommendations for books and tools that you could incorporate into your spiritual practice if you want. For example, I'll put the link to the centering exercise that I mentioned earlier if you want to try it. I'll also put the link to the Life Purpose Formula, which is a free guide to help us uncover the 5 ingredients of our unique purpose in life. I would say outside of spiritual growth, like the more practical aspects of our purpose and our calling. Because apart from self-care and my spiritual practice, the other major thing that has helped me increase my self-worth over the years is knowing my calling and doing my life's work. So I think this will be very helpful to you too. And if you have questions, if you want to share your thoughts, you can do that in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you a beautiful day and I'll see you next time.